Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Jordan Young. This is a certified hood classic, no cap on God. Today we're going to be reacting to Complex Sneakers top 10 sneakers of the year. One of the funniest things about this list is that the year's not over yet. Calling the sneaker of the year in October could be argued is a little bit premature, but hey ho. Now of course, the sneaker of the year panel, the discussion, generally coincides with ComplexCon, which is a 3 or a 4 day event that celebrates all things sneakers. And from what I've been able to gather online, having followed it with a lot of FOMO over the past few days, has been a rollicking success. And we will talk a lot about ComplexCon in this weekend's upcoming news wrap. Today, we're just gonna focus on the top 10 list. So let's start off with the panel. One thing that was kind of cool about the panel is that the old gang got back together. You had Joe LaPuma, Matt Welty, and Brendan Dunn. You also had the presence of Vashti representing the ladies up there, and then you had Fat Joe, and then Upscale Vandal. Right off the bat, having not watched the panel discussion, I can't speak to the motivations that informed this particular list, and so I'm not going to, judge too harshly. Well, maybe I will. Let's see how we go. Rightio, so here's the list, man. Here they are. Let's go through them. At number 10, the Converse Shea 001, the Butters. At number 9, the Infinite Archives Air Jordan 17 Low. At number 8, the Little Yachty Air Force 1 Low in the Lucky Green colorway. Number 7, Jordan 5 Black Metallics. Number 6, the Levi's Air Max 95s. At number 5, the Awake New York Air Jordan 5s in the Arctic Pink colorway. At number 4, the Pharrell Jellyfish, the orange colorway. Number 3, Air Max 95 Neon. Number 2, Air Jordan 4 Undefeated. And at number 1, the Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 4 Brick by Brick. That's it. That's the top 10 sneakers of the year list. Let's throw out some quick observations. First and most obvious one, I guess, is the fact that this list looks like it was bought and paid for by Nike. I mean, 8 out of the top 10 shoes are Nikes, and one of the remaining 2 is a Converse, which is a brand owned by Nike. Now that's not to poo-poo the list based on them mainly being Nikes. My own top 10 list would heavily favor Nikes, but we are living in a time where so many more brands have a lot more things going for them these days. It's a little bit surprising, at least in my opinion, that this list didn't involve more brands. Next, there's not a whole heap of variety. I mean, we've got 2 Air Jordan 4s, got 2 Air Jordan 5s, and then we've got 2 Air Max 95s. The other thing that I found quite funny is if this list had been retitled Top 10 Most Uncomfortable Sneakers of the Year, I feel like it would be totally valid. Next up, it's pretty much all hype, let's be honest. I mean, all of these sneakers have sold out and gone on to resell for crazy money in some instances. And whilst I totally appreciate that hype is important and the way these shoes have been received by the masses is important in determining demand and clout and all that type of stuff, I feel like the list is a little bit overhyped. I mean, 7 out of the top 10 shoes here are collaborations. You've got a couple of OGs and then 1 signature shoe. Right, so those are some quick observations. I put it out to you guys over on IG whether or not you thought this list from Complex was valid, and a pretty startling 75 or 77% of you guys said that no, this list is not valid. And look, far be it from me to denounce any other person's list. As we know with these things, it's highly subjective. There's probably going to be a little bit of crossover here and there, but it sort of feels like from the response I've seen online, most people feel like Complex missed with this list, which would, to be fair, be perfectly in keeping with Complex's storied history with failed lists. Okay, so let's go through the lists. At number 10, the Converse Shea 001 in the butter colorway. It should be noted that this is the only shoe on the list that's actually a brand new sneaker, a sneaker that we haven't seen before, or in the case of most of these shoes, thousands of times before. And there are some people out there that would argue that a sneakers of the year list should only be comprised of new sneakers that we've not seen before. So for that reason alone, this shoe, even though I don't particularly like the design, is totally justified being in the top 10. This shoe came with a lot of hype, a lot of interest. It's attached to a player who last season won the league's most valuable player trophy, as well as his first championship, and is also a guy that is considered the best dressed NBA player. Whether or not that is an accolade of note or not, I'm not so sure, but the dude has a lot of clout, and this shoe has sold out in every colorway that it's come out in so far. And so in my opinion, is a totally valid shoe to have on the list. At number 9, the Infinite Archives Jordan 17 Low in the beach colorway. I get this, I totally understand this. I actually have a pair of these on the way. The Jordan 17 Low is having a moment right now, mainly thanks to the excitement around the Lightning pair last year, as well as the UNC pair last year. This is the only pair of Jordan 17s to release this year so far, at least off the top of my head, and Infinite Archives have been making some moves as well. So this is a wicked shoe. The release was pretty mythical. These were not easy to get. They have gone on to resell for around £300 to £400, around $500 in the aftermarket. So they certainly have some demand and they certainly have some hype around them. This to me is a totally valid inclusion. At number 8, the Lil Yachty Air Force 1 Low Lucky Green. First of all, it's an exciting colorway, a far better collaboration than his first Air Force 1 Low, which was pretty boring, to be honest. So this shoe made some moves in the streets. These things sold out. They went on to resell. I'm not personally a massive fan of them. I kind of feel like because Complex and Yachty are quite tight, they sort of included this shoe in the list to play up to that relationship and keep them in good standing for some podcasts further down the line, I'm sure. I do get why these were hype, and I do get why they were included in the list, but this is the first shoe so far that I personally wouldn't put on my own personal top 10 list. The Air Jordan 5 Black Metallic. Ever since these things came out earlier in the year, in February, in what could potentially be considered the best month of sneaker releases for the last 5 years, I don't know. Ever since the shoe dropped, it's been a banger. Everybody has been loving the shoe, which is kind of interesting when you consider how the other OG 5s this year have been received, with Grapes going on sale, the Fire Reds going on sale. I think these things might even be reselling for more than the Tokyos right now, which is kind of crazy. They really executed the retro well. The reimagined touches were fantastic. It's the best Jordan 5 colorway of all time, in my opinion. So I've got no bones with this shoe being included on the list at all. At number 6, the Air Max 95 collaboration in the Obsidian colorway. I will admit that this colorway is the best colorway out of the 3 that released. I wouldn't have included these on my own lists, particularly when they've also got another Air Max 95 on the list, but I feel like what happened here is it Joe LaPuma's Air Max 95 bias probably crept in to include these where they possibly weren't needed to be included. Number 5, the Awake New York Air Jordan 5 in the Arctic Pink. Hot take, I personally think this is the most overrated pair on the entire list. I think had these not been so limited to whatever it was it like 5K or 8K pairs, these things wouldn't have been anywhere near as popular and probably wouldn't have even been included on the list. I personally prefer the black and blue pair a little bit more, but I think because these things are so bright and they're so vibrant and they're so feminine, for lack of a better expression, these things have really curried favor with the female sneakerhead audience and the, should we say, secure metrosexual male. And number 4, the Pharrell Eddie Star Jellyfish. You guys know my thoughts on this shoe. I like this shoe. I think it's got a really cool aesthetic about it. I think it's a really exciting design. Yes, it is based on an older Adidas retro, but I think it's Pharrell's best shoe in a minute. Probably his best shoe since the NMD Human Races. The only downside of this shoe is that they made these so limited. So very few people were able to actually enjoy them. And number 3, the Air Max 95 Neons. Not on my list personally, but I can totally understand why people would have it on there. Although we last had this shoe like 5 years ago in 2020. Yes, they didn't have the big bubble, but for a sneaker of the year to simply be a retro that we last saw 5 years ago, to me kind of hints that we're in this like retro loop that limits the imagination. I mean, are we really stuck in a loop where every 5 years, if an OG colorway comes out, we're gonna be like, yes, that needs to be sneaker of the year, or that's top 5, or that's top 10. I mean, bro. At number 2, the Air Jordan 4 Undefeated. I totally understand why this sneaker is on the list. I love this sneaker. It's always been a bit of a dream to be able to have these and to hold these in my hands. It's one of those sneakers that has divided opinion. Should Nike open the vaults and bring these types of shoes out again, or should they keep the mystery around these shoes high by just keeping the vault closed? I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think about that debate. It continues to rage on. Either way, I totally understand why Complex would put this shoe on the list. Is it the second best shoe of the year? I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. And at number 1, the Brick by Bricks, the Nigel Sylvesters. It's pretty hard to argue against the Brick by Bricks when you take into account the exciting colorway, the materials, the storytelling, the momentum and the motion that Nigel Sylvester has going on with Nike at the moment. It does tick all the boxes when it comes to the shoe of the year. There are going to be plenty of people out there that are going to want to call this shoe out as being like ugly. They don't like the colorway. The materials are rubbish. A lot of people out there are going to want to say these things are massively overrated on account of them being overhyped. And I totally get that. I totally understand where people are coming from. I think personally, it's a justified selection for shoe of the year. I mean, people called it early with the shoe as soon as it came out. Generally, when a shoe has so much hype and so much build up, and the release and the aftermath of the release lives up to that sort of a hype, it's always going to be a strong contender. And this shoe very much did that. So is it a justified number 1? I think so. Personally, I do think so. I think it's probably been the most impactful sneaker of the year when it comes to ticking all of those boxes, as said before. The only kind of tiring thing about it is the fact that it's another year and it's another sneaker of the year being the Air Jordan 4. It was only a couple of years ago, it was the SB4. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Those are my thoughts on Complex's top 10 list. There's some of the shoes on the list that I really like. There's a few pairs on this list that I would certainly put in my own top 10 sneakers of the year list. What do you guys think? Do you agree with this list? Do you disagree? What are your top 10 sneakers of the year? Let me know down below. I would love to see what you guys have on your lists. And it will give me some good information as we bear down towards the end of the year, when I'll be doing my very own top 10 sneakers of the year list, taking into consideration the shoes that are still yet to come out this year, because there are still plenty more releases coming. Thank you very much for watching the video, guys. Really appreciate you messing with the content. Do me a favor and like the video before you bounce. If you want to support the channel and help see my channel grow, please consider becoming a member of my Patreon, as well as subscribing to my second channel. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Got an exciting review coming out tomorrow. I'll see you then. Take care for now, and peace.